What's up, guys? So, the last, I want to say, 48 ish hours, or pretty much from the moment that you guys saw me last until right now, it has been a fucking roller coaster, one word that I just can never say, ride. And I just felt like I just need to decompress, let it out, because I don't play with demons. So, like, it's going to be a series of random stories of just things that I have heard and my response to it, and I just want to like let go. And then there's a major story, and then you girls, you guys will figure it out. So for starters, this was like when was it? 2 days ago or whenever. My mom texts me and she asks, "Are you off?" And I'm like, no, I'm not off because I had just finished working. And then she asked me, "At what time are you off?" And I'm like, "I'm off work." And she's like, "Oh, so you're off." And I'm like, "Yeah, if you call me working 7.5 hours being off, sure." And she's like, "Is there any way that you can help me with something?" So she told me whatever it was that she needed for me to get done, and I did it. But I was like, man, I'm gonna need to start lying about my schedule because this never fails. It's like she can sense what my days are like, although we don't even spend that much time together anymore. But it's just kind of freaky to me that I make plans and it's like, yeah, I know how I am going to go about the day, and everything is just meticulously planned, and then something has to happen. It doesn't ruin it, but because I was not prepared, it's like, okay, I gotta make some readjustments. And then sometimes my schedule doesn't cooperate, so it may take a long time before I can get around to anything. And Dan says, "Hello, breathe." Oh, I am breathing. It's going to get better. Trust me. And Philip says, "Good morning, good evening to me, or good afternoon to me." You know what? At what time do you say good evening? I tend to say good evening after 3 o'clock. I have never officially known until what time you say good afternoon. Anyways, I just thought that was random. So that's the first story. It's like, okay, kind of creepy that mom is like, just sensing my availability to do stuff for her, even though I had pretty much drowned my agenda with stuff to do. So the next part is she, the stuff that she needed for me to get done for her involved money. So I go get her money, and she's like, "I need for you to find me a money order." Because, of course, I cannot do a check on her behalf because I'm not her. So at the bank, they wouldn't let me do it. So I go to Walmart I to get a money order. And while I am pulling up at this specific Walmart, I have had two instances, one of which I streamed about, talking about my experience, which was actually a positive one. And while I am pulling up to the parking lot, I say, "Can't wait to see what's gonna break today." Particularly the printer. Can't wait to see how it just breaks today. Because every time that I go to this specific Walmart, something happens. People still use money orders. Well, my mother uses them because she ran out of pages in her checkbook. So, because she only needs one thing every month or every 2 months, then that's why she opts for using the money order. But it wouldn't surprise me once it goes away. And unfortunately, this payment cannot be processed in any other way, like online or something. She has to mail it somewhere. So, anyways, and I pull up to a parking lot and I say, "I can't wait to see how the printer is going to break." And then I go inside of Walmart, I place my order, and guess what? The printer is acting up, and the guy cannot figure out how to make it work. And then he spends like 15 minutes just shuffling and trying to fix it and pulling things out and pushing stuff in and taking the thing apart and putting paper in, taking it out, readjusting it, and all kinds of things. And then I'm just sitting there checking my phone. Occasionally, I just look around because sometimes I learn about stuff that's happening based on things that are posted, like on the board, or prices rising. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I remember when that service used to be like $2. Now it's 2.50, 2.89. Like some stuff, the post office particularly, they rose their prices on certain things. So now websites where I shop for things, I notice that they are charging more for shipping. And I'm like, fucking great. Like life is not expensive already. And then because of the decisions of the post office, now everything has to go up in price. But you know that in America everything keeps going up. That's just the normal thing. It would be abnormal for it to not go up or for it to decrease. But so anyways, when the guy finally gets the printer to work, he's like, "I'm so sorry, ma'am. So sorry that you have had to wait." And I'm like, "Don't worry. I never come with a hurry. And on top of that, or I never come in a hurry. And on top of that, every time I go to Walmart for anything, something happens. So I am prepared. Don't you sweat it." And like he was all nervous and whoa, all that, but he was like chill after I said that, because the same way that I'm telling you about it is how I was telling him. So I was turning it into a joke. I was like, that lady over there, she has had situations take place with me, and I was just chill and cool. One time I was here for 40 minutes and I was just chill, and y'all took care of me, and that's all that mattered to me. But it's just that sometimes I wonder, do I trigger my own bad luck, or is it me being able to see the future? I really would love answers for that. Of course, it is just having a premonition based on past experiences. I understand that. But sometimes I cannot help to but wonder, do you really impact your fate if you think positively or negatively? Or is this stuff just bound to happen no matter what? I never know what to believe when it comes to that. And then on top of that, after I did all that, I go to a specific gas station in town that tends to be cheaper than the others, but it is British Petroleum, BP, and it tends to be pretty good quality gas, at least in my experience. So I go there, and then there's this one person who works there who I try to avoid nowadays because it got awkward last year. And I try to pay at the pump, but sometimes the pump will either accept my card or tell me to go inside and see the cashier for whatever reason. I am trying to be antisocial because of the times that I go to that gas station. I know that this person is going to be there, and then my card, whatever happens to it, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it asks me to go inside, and sometimes I drive to another pump, and I tried the next pump, and it tells me to go see the fucking cashier. And I'm like, why? Why? And then sometimes they have both registers open, but normally when I go, there's only one fucking register working. And then the other ones are being audited, or like the other register, whoever's running it, is auditing it. And I'm like, why? Why do I have to be available to come here and get gas when this fool is here? And he's gonna make it awkward. So, anyways, like the brave and courageous person that I am, full of myself and confident, I go in there, and then this person is there, and it is a guy, and it is an older guy, and it is clear that he is very fond of me and has a thing for me. He has something, but he is not acting normal. So this is what happens. He asks me, "Are you married yet?" And I'm like, "It's coming up." And then he goes, oh, when? And in my mind, I'm like, fuck. But I say August. Like, the first thing that came to mind is August. And hello, Benoit. I see you. I'm just in the middle of telling my story. Uh, and so I tell him it's coming up in August because that's the month of my birthday. So that's like the quickest thing that I could think of. And then he goes, congratulations. And because it had been a long time since I went inside to the register to pay for gas because I was trying to avoid him, he goes, well, this whole time that I didn't see you, I thought you moved out of the country. And I'm like, in my mind, I was like, motherfucker, no, you didn't think that. There is a huge ass glass window next to you. And I have seen you looking at me. Because you know what car I drive and you know what I look like. So I have seen you staring in my direction when I am pumping fuel. Don't act like you hadn't seen me this entire year that I have been avoiding you. That is a fucking lie. It just sickens me. Because, people who, it's like you're right there in front of their face and they still have the guts to say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you right there. Like, yes, you did. But, anyways, so after that, he asked me, you didn't have a baby, did you? Fuck. No. But maybe. And it's just weird for me because I find that people seem to have this idea in their mind that for some reason it's like they put a time limit on you. Sometimes I feel that people try to pressure me into doing things because when they were young, that's what they did. Like, say, uh, most of the older people in my family, they were doing drugs, they were getting married, they were drinking and smoking and everything when they were super young. And then when they ask me, expecting for interesting stories, I don't say a damn thing because I have nothing to say because I haven't experienced any of that. And then they're like, oh, well, when are you going to get around to like getting married? Are you seeing anybody? Or this and that. And I'm like, I will get married when I'm fucking ready. Why do you think that if that was the thing that y'all did, if that was the trend, if y'all were mentally and financially ready to get your family started at a significantly younger age, good for you. You enjoyed your time. You were a product of your time. But that's not how it goes for everybody. I feel like older people still think that the world functions like it did back in their time. Like, no, I am not 22 with a house like you, you know? So it's just crazy. So this guy, it's like his daughter is like in her 30s or something. And then it's like, okay, well, I'm old as shit, and I had a daughter when I was really young, so therefore that's the path that you're taking. No! It's just crazy that you're associating me with the tendencies of others. And then if I do not do the stuff the way that others are doing it, I'm the weirdo. Like, no, how about if you worry about your own business? Okay, so in the end, I just kept bullshitting my way through that conversation. And I was not making eye contact. I was kind of like cold and brief with my answers. And then in the end, when I told him that I was getting married in August, he said, congratulations. And I'm like, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. But just fucking hell. It's just crazy to me that every time I go up to certain people, the conversation is so fucking scripted. Because a year ago, when I started avoiding him, it was over the same thing. He would ask me those questions, weird questions, and be all awkward about it. And then one time he was telling me that he was having like a bad day, and I made the mistake of, he was like right there. So when I hear that someone's having a bad day, I like to be comforting. So I made the mistake of giving him a fucking hug because that's just what I do. I like being hugged when I feel like shit. So I don't care if you're a stranger. That's just what I do. But after that, it's like he got the wrong idea. He definitely did. Because then it's like he was expecting one every time I went there. And I'm like, no, you are fucking. Because I'm just like, I have my weak fiber and I just like to, again, be comforting and shit. But sometimes I'm like, this is why I became antisocial. This is why I try to become a bitter ass bitch when I'm out in public and I don't make eye contact with anybody and I don't try to socialize because I feel like I fuck it up. I send out the wrong message even though I'm just trying to be like nice, like an all around genuine nice person. But after that, it's like, you know what? I'm totally discouraged. So I know it's absurd, it's ridiculous. It's like I'm being a drama queen over nothing, but it's just weird. I wish I understood the psychology of these people. Like every time I have weird episodes like this, it's like I'm just not good at dealing with people, period. Somehow I am good at it under certain circumstances, but under other circumstances, it's like I mess it up big time because now I have this I don't like to use this word, but now I have this creep all over me. You know, like how do I get rid of this person now? And it's not that he's a bad person. I don't sense that he's a bad person. It's just that he has weird tendencies. And when you're older and you're trying to constantly like flirt with me and pick me up when I'm like 30 years younger than you, that is weird. You know, that's never going to end well for you. So that was that story. And then another thing that happened to me is I was at work, and then there's this one colleague who begins his shift, and he is assigned to the lane that's right next to me. And then I am known for not talking a lot about myself. I don't like to talk about my personal life. I don't like to reveal personal details. And especially when I'm on the clock, I am focused. So this person decided to ask me, we're going to talk about you because I need to know what's going on. And I'm like, why? Why? Why do you need to be all over my business? Why do you need to like be consistently trying to get me to talk about me? I have established before that I do not care about talking about my personal life. I do not divulge my personal matters. I just don't. Even if you ask, I will give you the vaguest response ever because it's not your business. I don't feel like it's your business, you know? Like, even if we had time, even if I were off the clock, I like to share stories on under specific circumstances for specific reasons. But if it's just for the sake of you wanting to be nosy and know my personal details, I don't share that stuff. But if there's something that I went through that you can learn from, like say you're talking about buying a new car, and I'm like, oh, I have bought a new car. I know exactly what the process is like. Here, when you go over there, have this and that, mention this and that, ask about this and that, and you'll see that the process is going to be a whole lot better. Or do not go in a hurry because that dealer is going to be trying to talk to you in a hurry so that you can make bad decisions. Make sure that you have a lot of time on your hands. Eat well because you may spend like 5 hours and it may take a long time if they cannot get a hold of someone, say an insurance company, so that you can drive the car out of the lot legally. And you'll have delays. Prepare yourself like something bad's gonna happen and you'll be stuck there for hours. So, anyways, if it's like that, I can handle those kinds of personal conversations. But when it comes to you finding out about me and specific details like, what else do you do on the side? Or do you live alone? Or do you live with your boyfriend? Or do you still live with your mom? And this and that. It's like, I don't feel like talking about that. Why do you need to know about that? Am I asking you how you live? Am I asking you if you live with your wife, with your mom, with your boyfriend, with your daughter, with your son, or how many pets you got? Am I asking you what if you're going to school or something? Like, wait for me to share that information. And if I'm not sharing that information, maybe logical conclusion is She ain't gonna talk about it. I have been there for half a decade already, and I have never talked about me. I have never revealed anything about me unless it's something that's going to affect my job performance, like, say, an emergency in the immediate family. And then I'm like, hey, man, I need to leave early today because of this and that. I gotta go. But even then, I'm not divulging information. But we live in a society that's like, so they feed off gossip. And it's like the amount of time you spend wasting, like you waste on gossip and stuff, you could be more productive, like doing things that are actually beneficial for you. But, but, but then when I think about it critically, I like to just blame myself for my misery when it comes to social situations because I don't try to be better when it comes to socializing. It's like I'm reserved. There's my degree of shyness that if it's not gone by now, it's probably never going to leave. It's part of my personality now. So I'm thinking these people, deep down, they don't mean any harm, but it just bugs me because what's popular, the culture, is that people want to know about you and find out about you, whether it be for gossip or for genuine interest. But because I don't like to take my chances that you're going to be someone who takes my information to use it against me somehow, how about if I just don't tell you anything? And a lot of the times I feel like the less people know about you, the better. Because it's like they end up getting too involved with you. Like, I'll never forget when I was younger and I was seeing my boyfriend at the time. The moment that everyone found out that I was dating that guy, specifically every woman, this was the most awkward guy. Nobody talked to him, nobody wanted him, whatever. The moment they found out that we were together, suddenly all of the bitches had something to do with him. Oh, that is my friend, that is my best friend, and that's my best buddy, and this and that. And they would try to flirt with him. They would try to like hang out with him, ask him out on dates and movies and shit. And I'm like, am I a portrait on the wall? Why all of a sudden did it stimulate your desire to have a social connection with the guy that just so happens to start dating me? Just so happens that when I pick this guy up, you decide to get interested. So, and then sometimes it happens with me too. It's like when I'm single, not even fucking flies land on me. Not even fucking flies touch me. Like not even fleas jump into my hair. It's like I am alone and miserable as I can be. Nobody wants me. The moment I start something and I am committed, it's like it's raining men, like all over. And I'm like, where the fuck were y'all at when I was available? Why is it that all of a sudden you're trying to get involved in my personal life and you have the nerve to say, I am not a home wrecker, but I have the feels for you, bitch. And you try to say that you have felt that the entire time. And then you decide to express it at the most inopportune moment. How do you expect me to react? How do I treat you after that revelation? Clearly, things are not going to be the same because now I am going to know that every time you're nice to me, every time you offer something, you're not being genuine. Like, you might have an interest of, maybe if I do the sweet stuff with a girl, she's going to totally leave her man for me. Excuse me, but if you end up picking a girl up because you wrecked her relationship, would you not be suspicious that she might do the same thing to you? Like, if a girl leaves a guy because she is clearly not satisfied by this other guy, and she decides to like leave this other guy for you, and then you end up not satisfying her in some type of way, and then you get dumped and replaced and you're upset at the girl because of what she did to you. Did you not see that coming? If she left her guy for you, what made you think that she wouldn't leave you for another guy? When has that story ever concluded well? Like a story in which someone leaves someone for someone else, when does that ever end well? Because I personally have never heard of a story like that. So it's just, again, I'm just mentioning it because it's stuff that has been happening in my life. I think it's weird and I just need to let go because some stuff has just been bugging me, and specifically the aspect of how deceptive life can be and how stuff presents itself in a weird way. Like, I always say that life is a psychological game, right? But sometimes it's the way that you react to things and the way that you interpret things, and it's not even exactly what is happening. Stuff is not always as it seems. And that is the thing that I am struggling with. Because sometimes I think, life is just crazy, unfair, I don't get it, I'm miserable, and this and that. But then when I think about it, I'm like, what kind of decisions am I making to make it better? I feel like a lot of the things I inflict on myself. So I'm trying to be better. I am trying to be more involved, especially socially. But then I realized, you know what? No, I'm not in shape for that. I'm not fit to be doing that because every time I do, something happens and I end up being let down, disappointed, and frustrated. And I'm like, you know what? I do not enjoy the fact that I'm a very, very, very solitary person because I feel like I'm fun to be around and whatnot. But there comes a time in which, for some reason, the conversation goes awkward, and I don't know how to get it in a positive direction. Like, get it back in a direction to where we can avoid that tension. Like, specifically with a guy. If a guy is talking to me and it's clear and I know and he has told me that he feels something for me, it's like stuff is never going to be the same. How can you how can stuff ever be the same? So unless he starts dating someone else, that's when I'm like, okay, okay, cool. So it is possible to just be friends with this guy and stuff. But at other times, what used to be a beautiful friendship, amazing friendship, it got ruined the moment that happened. How do you even handle that? How do you repair that? Because no matter how much you try to pretend that stuff is fine and normal and everything is all right, it's like no matter what you do, someone's going to be feeling hurt or something. Like, I have had guys who, once they express that they like me or something, and I talk about me having plans with another guy, it's like they get jealous. And I'm like, well, now I have to feel guilty about the stuff that I do in my life. It feels like being back in like high school all of a sudden. But anyways, usually what I do is I keep contact, and if it crosses the line and starts getting inappropriate, then I'm like, okay, how about this? I'll have to let go. But other times I just like to end them right there and just be blunt as fuck about it. Like, no, I don't like you like that. So how about if you just chill and take it easy? But but yeah, again, this is not stuff that torments me or really affects my life. It's just that when it happens, it gets me and I get frustrated and anxious, and then it's like, this is entertaining more than anything. This to me is a joke. This is entertaining. But the frequency of it and how similar the circumstances are is what gets me. It's like, oh yay, I'm finally getting this right, the social game, I'm dominating it, and then oh, it's like it hits me, like I just crash. But anyways, like I said, initially when it happens, I'm all like, I don't know how to handle it. But after I decompress and let go and express it, it's like stuff is not bad at all. This is like a massive game, massive joke for me. But it's like it happens. I come here and I snack on my chocolate and I let a tear or two roll, and then after that, it's like I pick up and keep going. But again, the moment it happens, I'm like, I could have said so many better things, so many more clever things, but I said the dumbest shit. And now that I'm by myself, it's like I'm winning that argument because the pressure is not there. But anyways, guys, those are some of my random stories. And then here comes the main story that I want to share. So, do you guys remember how 2 days ago I said, guys, tomorrow, which is yesterday, I am not going to be here because I am going to attend a social event. Guess fucking what? I did not end up going because I had a family emergency. And then it wasn't supposed to happen. Of course, this was something completely unexpected. I was not upset. I was not mad. I was not irritated at all. But the most inopportune timing ever. That's what upset me. I'm like, I was ready. I had my agenda. I had my plans. I was ready. I was going. I was pumped because I'm like, this is my first time as an adult that I will go to a social event where there's more than 10, 15, 20 people that I actually know and actually will interact with. This is going to be fun, it's going to be entertaining, and that there's going to be food and all that good stuff. So the emergency took place. I went to address it, and basically, it had to do with two people who were not getting along. The situation was escalating, and because I am an important figure, it was appropriate for me to be involved. And I'm like, fantastic. This should not take very long. So I should have time to still make it to my function, even if it's a couple of hours later. And I'll only be able to hang out for like an hour, hour and a half. But of course, no. Of course not. It has to be worse than that. The situation has to get worse. The situation has to escalate. And then a lot of things needed to happen in between. And then I'm like, fuck. Fuck. Just fuck life. Because, like I said, I was excited. I was ready. And now I am let down. Although the person I am helping is very meaningful for me, very important for me. So, like, I would give my life for them. So, of course, I was there and I was the one they were calling because they trust me. I am, like, the, so important for them. And I'm like, this is it. This is where I demonstrate how amazing I am, how supportive I am. Heck yeah, forget parties, forget social events. But then the circumstances surrounding the situation, which is someone being straight stupid, that's what upset me. Because you're not only inconveniencing my acquainted person's life, you're inconveniencing me, you're inconveniencing my companion, and you're inconveniencing the group of people who were expecting us to be there. So, anyways, what I took away from that is, you know what? There will be another opportunity for me to be involved in a social event. This was more important. I am glad that I was able to be there because the situation, again, it escalated. It was weird, and I'm glad that I was there making sure that everything and everyone was all right. But it's just that it's one of those things that it sounds worse than it really is. But because I am the third person, I'm not involved in the conflict. It's like, why is this happening between them? You know, why is this even a thing? Why can you not talk this out and reason and just behave? Because the problem, honestly, was that someone simply did not know how to behave. And they just had a very childish behavior and they were trying to it was pretty much an emotional abuse type of situation. That's what was involved. Like, that was the matter at hand. And then I said, oh, as a person who has been there and experienced that firsthand, heck yeah, I am going to get involved because this person involved is very important to me, and I would not abandon them at a time like this when they have been there for me. So, but again, I was excited. You guys probably remember I was up like at midnight streaming, talking about how I'm not going to be here because of this. And then when the moment of truth comes, it's like the very minute that we were on our way to the function, my phone rings and I'm like, it is unusual for this person to be calling me. And I happen to be in an area where reception is bad. So they had tried calling me and I picked it up, but then the call just dropped. So I thought maybe they butt called or maybe they changed their mind. But it turned out to be that the situation got real. And I'm like, of course, I'm not going to abandon someone who needs me, but why do you need me now? So again, sometimes I wonder, what I am getting at is, do I bring bad luck to myself when I think about, it's gonna be a great day, nothing's gonna go wrong, and everything's gonna work just fine? Because usually, when I have something that I am anticipating, I never get excited about it because I know that something fucked up can happen, and it tends to happen. So I try to guard myself and protect myself, and I'm like, I'm not going to get too excited because what if it doesn't happen? But then I thought, that's a pessimistic point of view. I need to grow out of that and mature and be able to handle disappointment. But in the moment I do, this thing happens. So it upset me for a bit, and it was not because I was missing out in a function, it was more because of what was happening. Like, why is this person mistreating this other person when I know this other person so well, and this other person would not at all try to damage somebody? But because of your past experiences and your insecurities, you are portraying that on a person who is now spending time with you and involved in your life. And again, you let your insecurities get in the way, and now you're trying to ruin this person's life. Like, it upset me because this person has been in that situation before, to where they have to leave abruptly from somewhere, and it's like, we gotta pack up everything and just go. And I'm like, why does this keep happening to people who are nice, people who want to do nice things for someone? So one day I will do a separate stream and pretty much break it down, because this is an example of what we could call a toxic relationship. So it's worth the topic and breaking it down so you guys see where I'm coming from. But it's just crazy to me that bad stuff tends to happen to really good intended people, well intended people. So I'm like, is this just bad luck, or is this just people not knowing how to people? But I thought that I would share it so that again I can let go, because I was having an okay day, but then last night I kind of had, I didn't have trouble sleeping, I just needed to sleep more, and I went to bed really 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 late. And but still it messed up with the flow of my entire day. So that is what I had to adjust for. So during the day, when I woke up and while I was at work, I was just groggy, like just moody for no reason. I had an appetite, but I just could not eat. And I'm like, okay, if it's affecting me physically, I need to address it. But I thought that I would just randomly share the story because I could not believe what was happening. I just could not believe what was happening. So let me catch up with your comments. And after that, I'm gonna have to bail. Oh, let's see. I know that I stopped like way up in the beginning. Self-manifested. August is a great month to get married. For me personally, my ideal month to get married is April, only because of the weather. Like, it's not too hot, it's not too cold, and I like spring. Spring is my favorite season. So I feel like if I had a say over which date I'm going to get married, I'm going to choose April. April is nice. Even though most tragic stuff tends to happen on April. Have you guys ever heard about that? I think there's a theory about that, about how things just happen on April. Really bad things happen on April. Like in my hometown, there was a freaking tornado that tore through on an mid-April day, and we never see that. Like, that never really hits us like that. So we were just more stupid than you. Now you have to get a ring in August and wear it whenever you pump gas at BP. You know what? I should. I feel like I have done that before. Yeah, I have definitely done that before to where I just wear a mock ring when I know that who's gonna someone who's like dehydrated for me is going to say something, and then they look at it and they go, "Oh, you're engaged or you're getting married?" And I'm like, "Yep, yep." Whoa, when did it happen? 2 months ago. Oh, congratulations. I haven't seen, fake celebration. And I'm like, ain't nobody trying to put a ring on this fucking finger. But but I'm like, well, let me feel like I'm important to someone and just self propose, and just wear a fake ring because apparently everyone thinks that I live this fulfilling life where everything is just flowers and dandelions and like let me share you a story of a coworker that I had who was one of my best friends at the time. So, there's this older person, older lady who goes up to her and goes, "Well, you're thin, tall, white, possibly married. There's no way there's anything going wrong in your life." And my favorite thing about it is that the person who she was addressing, my friend, she was the biggest fuck up who I knew at the time. Like, she had recently been divorced. She has always been struggling with like her self image. She has always had just issues in general. And this person is trying to make assumptions about her just from what's on the surface. Did you guys catch that one comment talking about me being like Indian or something and how my culture is the most hateful in the planet? And I'm like, I do not have any connections to any Asian country, at least in the past 5 generations that I'm aware of. None whatsoever. And you think that just because I kind of look like something, and I don't see where, honestly, because what does Indian look like, honestly? I genuinely cannot tell the difference. Like, you can sort of tell what region someone may be from, because a lot of places tend to be, what is it? It's not endemic. What's the word? Uh, like when you tend to mate with people who are similar to you. Anyways, there's a term for that, which escaped me right now. But you cannot be making assumptions about people like that just because we sound different or look kind of different. And there was a time I had someone at the store ask me, "Have you seen my husband? He doesn't look very American." What does not looking American look like? Because American comes in all sizes, shapes, forms. They sound all kinds of ways, but you're trying to convince yourself that there is one model for American. I'm sorry, that is what the goal used to be, but it's impractical, especially in modern times. So you need to just accept it. That image that you have of American is not what you may expect. It's not just that European look anymore. Whatever European look used to be originally. But anyways, that's another political topic for another day, I guess. But just I would like to write down all of those stories that I have of stuff that I have heard people say and just throw it on a stream and then you guys can just react to it. But it happens to people who just look different. Like I remember seeing a tweet of someone saying someone who is not Chinese was being asked about how is the weather in China this time of the year. And I'm like, this seriously happened to you. Wow. I know what that is like because I know what it's like to be asked questions about places that you have absolutely nothing to do with. But every time that happens, I bullshit myself through it, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's really nice. Oh yeah, I'm from the beach area. Yeah, can you name your town? I don't know, cause I honestly have never been. I've never visited. I was just born there. I just love to bullshit my way through it, cause I used to get upset about it, but now it's like, nah, while I'm there, why not have fun? But yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I can't wait to share more stories with you guys. I just need to have the time. I hate dealing with people too. Sometimes I have a conflict and I'm like, do I hate people or do I hate the process of dealing with people? And then when I think about it, I'm like, I don't hate people because I like that there's people in this planet to share stuff with, spend time with, and people are entertaining, people make me laugh, people make me happy, but I think it's certain mindsets that's upsetting because individually what makes you happy. You know how to not complicate your life, but someone out there has a different view from you, and thus you two become incompatible, and that incompatibility is what makes it rough. It makes the experience be tougher than it needs to be. But at the same time, those differences is what keeps the world going round, right? Because if we were all similar, I would imagine that life would be boring as hell. But there is a time and a place for everything. And sometimes I do not have the time to be dealing with how to deal with people who are difficult and complicated because they're not compatible with you. See what I mean? So, if only that did not happen so often, warily often, stuff would be better. But, anyways, the more that stuff happens, the better for me because I get to come here and bitch and complain, and you guys love it. So, but yeah, it's interesting. I just love talking about it. Um, I think it's the people you are around. You know what, Mike? That is absolutely true. Because let me tell you, when I moved out of my hometown, stuff was great. Like, people were different, people thought different, and I am only about 140 ish miles away from my hometown. And I'm like, it's amazing how much of a difference a few miles can make. Again, people look different, sound different, definitely more education inclined, put it that way. And I, as someone who took my public school education seriously, to find people who actually challenge me is exciting. Whereas my hometown didn't really offer that. It was like the middle of fucking nowhere. So if you ever are struggling really bad, it's probably the place. You probably need to pack up and go. I know it's not easy to move out, but just know that there is a place out there for you. It may take you a while to get to it. It may take you a while to get to it. At least you're safe here with us. Oh, absolutely. Like, there is no way that I would be able to handle streaming if it was not a smooth experience. I remember when I used to pre record videos and edit them and upload them. Shit, I remember when I used to record videos and not even have a way of editing them. So it's like I would put it out, and if someone finds it, great. If not, okay. And I remember my very first stream. I called it Ramblings of a First Time Streamer. And I was nervous as hell. I did not know who was going to show up. I didn't even think that more than two people would show up, but there were like a handful of people who showed up. And I'm like, you know what? This is fun. This is entertaining. You guys are interacting with me. I never know what's going to happen, what's going to change the flow of the conversation. And in real life, I am actually pretty bad with conversations unless we are talking about a topic that I am comfortable with. Um, it's like I can have a lot of things to say, but there is stuff like small talk, general stuff. I am absolutely just I can't handle it. Like really small talk, like hey, how's it going? How you doing? This and that, basic stuff. I cannot do it. But if you give me a topic that has like substance to it, like say, hey, back in 2014, I'll never forget. What's your opinion on the disappearance of flight MH what was it, 370? And I'm like, oh, well, since it disappeared over the, what was it, Pacific Ocean, I believe that da 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 da. So If you give me a topic like that, I can go with it. But if it's small talk that's trying to build up into something greater, I can't do it. I'm someone who has trouble asking people how their day is going. And that has actually landed me in hot water a few times. And I'm like, why? Like, if you have something to say, just tell me. Tell me the story. Don't wait for me to address you. I know it's rude to a certain extent, but it's not that I don't care. It's just that for me to physically pronounce those words and be like, hey, how did your day go? It's not something I do. It's not even something that I did as a kid. I was never really asked about how my day was going because I knew my routine. So if there was something going on, I just reported it. But usually there was nothing going on. So it did not become an important part of my day. But sometimes I feel like people get too emotional, too attached to details like that, and they're like, well, if you don't ask about my day, that must mean that you don't care. I'm like, no, stop thinking for me, god damn it. And then your life will turn better, you know? But anyways, sometimes I think that people don't know how to handle their insecurities. That has to be it. No other choice. Eat well. I'm an introvert until I trust someone. Absolutely. Oh my god. Whenever you meet someone, you cannot shut up. I know that I cannot shut up when I meet someone who I'm like connected with. Like if we're tight, if we relate on a lot of things, you better have time because I can go on forever. I get like bubbly and excited, like, oh my god, you can relate to it too. It's about time that I found someone who I can actually converse with because for some reason the rest of the planet simply does not get me. You know? And when you think about it, when you actually talk to people, most people relate to you to some extent. It's just that the way that they react to some stuff is what makes it a little different in my personal experience. It's like, wow, the stuff that upsets you, for me, it's a walk in the park. And then the opposite is true. The stuff that upsets me, other people just don't get it. Yeah, why are you upset? Why? You know? But, but anyways, just get to know people. It's actually a pretty fun experience. I did not learn that until I became an adult. So now I'm wishing that a lot of people who I knew back in the day I would have communicated better with. Let's see. Women are crazy. Oh yes, women are crazy. But you know what? Guys can be crazy too. I need to start telling some stories about that. And then maybe you guys can shine some light on the ever confusing male psychology because I just don't get it. Jealousy is a natural human trait. I would say that's a normal reaction. I agree with Dan. It's life, enjoy living it, and try to laugh about all the craziness. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I have learned to do that. I am so grateful because my life truly did become better. Oh, yeah, Michael, I did notice when your contribution flashed, but I just had to keep going. So I appreciate that so much. Don't stress over the little things. Have a cup of coffee, maybe a few cookies here, say hug. I appreciate that. Rose out for you. Hi, pretty lady. Hey, Ruda. I have noticed you replying, but you know me, I just gotta keep talking. Men are pigs and women are batches. Beaches. Go home, pull your blankets over your head, and be safe there. Phew. You know what? It is a very warm February day, but had I read that when it was mad freezing like last week, I would have so turned my blankets into like an igloo and just hid under there and just not life for a day, you know? Because adulting has been hitting me pretty difficult lately. Those people are shallow. Most people are shallow. I am not shallow. Oh, the thinking the perfect thing to say as soon as it's too late thing is so annoying. Oh, yeah, tell me about it. Be safe. Most people who do social events are crazy people. Make sure you bring a friend. Oh, yeah, this was a work related social event. It was like we decided to agree on a date to meet up at a specific place. And we were all limited to only have two drinks. And guess what? Your girl was going to have none because I just cannot. mess with it. You don't have to go. I would have loved to have gone though, because again, I have always craved social activity, but I just don't know how to fucking handle it. I just don't. Hi Sam, hello, Rouge Shadow. Few dodged that bullet, the big social function. Nah, honestly, I was neither relieved nor absolutely devastated that I couldn't go. I was annoyed that I didn't get to go, like to some extent. But had this been some 3, 4 years ago, yeah, I would have been like, heck yeah, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to go. I can just go home and chill and not have to worry about, maybe wearing a blouse and stuff, which which is funny. I was texting someone who was anticipating my presence. And I was like, hold on, child. I am getting glammed up and then I'll be on my way. But when I had to text her telling her that I'm not going to make it, she was like, I wanted you to save me, but it's okay because I am talking to so and so now. And I have had a few drinks. And I'm like, okay, at least you have knocked yourself out a bit. So sorry that I couldn't be there, but it looks like you did not need me that much. But anyways, it was so fun to have that text conversation. I ain't that frugal. If I ever have a wife and she needs to relocate, I have enough skills to follow her on her journey. That's good. I was born in April. I kind of remember that. April 9th? Is it? Is it? I don't know. I remember that it was April, but I don't remember what day you told me. Like when it was my birthday, I was asking everybody what y'all's birthdays were, and I remembered one, but I have sort of forgotten the others. Stop trying to hit on my pretty lady. Ring or not, are you ready for sexy time? Your man ain't here though. Let's have fun. Doppelganger. One day we will all be tea colored anyway. I hate people. Most people are annoying. I like a few people. I love Earth, but I love Earth. But people are annoying 24/7. Yes. And it's weird because sometimes it all depends on your mood. Sometimes people are not even doing something that it's annoying. You perceive it as annoying because of whom it comes from. But sometimes I'm like, the opposite is true. It's like, wow, you're being so annoying, but for some reason, I like you and love you and I'm so fond of you. And you being annoying is not annoying me. But there's people who I just have zero tolerance for. And it's like the moment that I just hear them breathing, it's like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Small talk is so awkward to me. I'm with you on that. Yes! Someone else who's bad at it. I'm so glad. I was in Atlanta the other day. I asked her if I can tell her a sexist joke. It was a small exchange, but it was a high fiving a female. She was a female version of me. I can give you a shortness of male ideology. 21. Well, fantastic. Save it for when I officially bring that stream up. I'm not sure what the title will be. It'll probably be like, what is it? Mansplain to Zam, male psychology or something like that. I don't know. Since most of you folks in here I are primarily guys, it would be appropriate for me to be like, just mansplain it to me. You guys will run the show that day. It's like, I'm not going to be the host. The comment section is going to be the host. I'm done. I'm quitting. Hi, everybody. I was born on April 2, 26th. Awesome! Another April child. Well, guys, that's it from me for now. Thanks so much for listening to me because I feel great right now. It's like I let go of the stuff that was weighing me down. Now I'm ready to eat because your girl has to keep her diet and get strong so that we can get in shape again. And yeah, everything is all right. It's just that I needed a second. I needed to be alone. And then I'm like, Let me come out of my shell, because every time I come out of my shell and I let people in, the right people in, good stuff happens. So I'm definitely glad that I decided to share with you guys the little things that all piled up into a bigger thing, and it tried to get to me, but we got this. We got this. And if I didn't have the channel, what would I have done in a situation like this? Fucking cry. And then after crying, probably eat very unhealthy and then regret it soon afterward. Because I used to be someone who would succumb to emotional eating of the worst kind. And then I was already miserable, and my misery is what led me to eat bad. And then after eating bad, I'm even more depressed because of my terrible decision of eating bad. So what used to be just a terrible feeling became the worst terrible feeling. But now it's just good to look back and look at myself and uh, what is it? Compare how I used to be versus how I am now. And it's like all this confidence and assertiveness that I have that is so uncharacteristic of me. It's like, is this really me? When did this happen? Am I being a fraud? Or or is everything all right? But nah, everything is truly all right. So yeah, yeah, it's just good. I love doing this. I will save the male ideology later. Have a good day. Have a chill day. I appreciate that. I am here for you. Oh, I triple appreciate that. And thanks for making me smile. Well, thank you guys for participating and contributing and being here for me. And yeah, just accepting me for how I am above everything. It's not that I have had problems with people who are tough with me or something, nothing like that. It's just that with some people who are close in my life, they try to become possessive and controlling. And that's the thing that I am learning now, to respect myself. I used to allow for people to walk all over me and control me. And now that I am actually finally defending myself, they're losing it. It's like, what happened to you? Why are you being so rude? Why are you? I'm like, no, I'm not being rude. This is just a girl who's tired of your bullshit. And it's about time that I took care of myself and respected myself and defended myself. You know, I used to think that if I cared about myself, that I was going to be like selfish and cold and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, it's important to take care of yourself, because if you don't do it, who's going to do it? And although it's supposed to be someone who is supposed to care for you and make you feel the greatest in your life, they're gonna fail. So if they fail, what are you going to do? And that's what I'm learning now. It's like, oh, that's right. It is possible for me to be self sufficient. So I needed for this stuff to happen to me to realize that. But anyways, I'll get to those stories when I get to it. All right,